Oh, the Barbie movie. It's only been out for a few days at this point, but it's already crushing the box office, and apparently it's also really triggering some of my fellow conservatives, and I don't get it. The biggest criticism of this doll come-to-life blonde and pink extravaganza is that Ken and all the other male characters portrayed in the movie are dumb and weak and or sexist. Some of my fellow conservatives are pissed off about that and feel like this movie is anti-man or shines a bad light on men. Newsflash for you, no duh. It's a movie about a fictional doll living in a Barbie dreamland of pink glitter and high ponytails. Did you think this was a remake of Rocky? I mean, come on now. The outrage over this is a little much. You know, I get that some of you don't like the feminized character roles of the males in the movie, but for God's sakes, it's Barbie. This isn't new. I spent much of my childhood playing with Barbie dolls, and guess what? Ken didn't even have his male parts represented on his plastic physique, so I'm not really sure why some of y'all are so taken aback by this. The male characters, including and especially Ken, are a little soft and a little oblivious. And have you looked around at modern-day America lately? I hate to be the bearer of the bad yet completely obvious news, but a large majority of young men are, wait for it, a little soft and a little oblivious. And if you were relying on the Barbie movie to correct that or somehow override that perception, that's a lot to ask of a movie about a damn doll, folks. I'm all for fighting the culture war and for pushing back on some of the wokeness displayed in popular culture, but the faux outrage over this movie is not a good look and also kind of annoying. We've got a lot of battles to fight for the heart of this country, and I don't think picking this one is strategic or useful in the slightest. Bigger fish to fry here, and getting our collective panties in a twist over this is silly. Furthermore, if you don't want your daughters or your wives to watch the Barbie movie because it's too woke, y'all men better also boycott the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, definitely soccer, and every other professional sporting event because they are all far more woke than the Barbie movie. I'm just saying. Jason Aldean is not backing down to the mob, and I love to see it. After a loser spent the better half of last week attacking him for his song and music video for Try That in a Small Town, Aldean took time out of his concert in Cincinnati over the weekend to let the world know exactly where he stands.
It's been a long week, and I've seen a lot of stuff. Suggesting I'm this, suggesting I'm that. Here's one thing I feel like everybody's entitled to their opinion. You can think something all you want to, it doesn't mean it's true, right? What I am is a proud American. I'm proud to be from here. I love our country. I want to see it restored to what it once was before all this started happening to us. I love my country, I love my family, and I will do anything to protect that. I can tell you that right now.
Yes, Aldean's controversial song is topping the charts because real America not only stands behind him, but also the message of the song. This song is the new anthem for pissed off America, and thank goodness Aldean had the guts to not only put it out, but stand behind it even when the backlash and chorus of name-calling came down on him. So good for Aldean, but I gotta say, with the exception of a few artists like Cody Johnson, Jake Owen, Brantley Gilbert, I'm a little disappointed that the rest of country music, real country music, didn't come to his defense. Because imagine what a powerful statement it would make if mega artists like Luke Bryan or Luke Combs or Miranda Lambert would say something. That would send a message to country music radio and country music executives that they can't bully and bury artists like Aldean or raise their middle fingers to his fans either. Now is the time. Take back country music and then take back America.
3 days before the midterm election, Trump decided to have a little meltdown, and he went on an unhinged, unprovoked attack against DeSantis and hasn't stopped attacking him since. I believe that the cult of personality is so strong with Donald Trump that these lies and names and slander that he's throwing at DeSantis is literally changing the minds of these people who once, not very long ago, loved DeSantis and were saying, make America Florida.
And And ever since that podcast went live, Jamie has been taking some serious hits from the right, the Trump right. She joins me now to set the record straight. All right, Jamie, so I agree with everything you said in that podcast, by the way, but I know because I have said some similar comments, and I know that you are taking major heat from the Trumpers right now and have been for the last couple of weeks for those comments. So tell me what that's been like and what has been some of the reaction that you've received.
Well, thanks for having me on. I'm kind of used to the vitriol. I've been supporting DeSantis and kind of publicly off the Trump train since the COVID years. When he started subsidizing his presidency to Fauci, who I did not vote for, and that's who I got. So I've been taking the heat for a while from the only Trump crowd. I think it just goes to show that they're scared. They can't defend anything I'm saying. I mean, it's true. So they attack personally, which is kind of what leftists do. That's what we've been used to from the left, from the rabid left. And it's the same tactics that now the Trump right seems to be resorting to, especially on Twitter. And it's unfortunate.
It actually reminds me of back in 2015 and 2016 when I would take serious incoming from people who were never Trump because I was for Trump. So it reminds me a lot of that, and that's disappointing to me. But the other day, I tweeted something kind of similar to what you just said there. I said, I feel like real Trump supporters, people that just love Trump and they want him to be reelected because they loved what he did for this country and because they believe that he's America first and he shined a light on forgotten America. I feel like those Trump supporters are so much different from Trump supporters on social media. Those Trump supporters to me seem aggressive, angry, and I don't really think that that's representative of the true Trump base. I think that's the Twitter Trumpers. And that's also frustrating me because I think that they're actually making Trump himself look bad. And some of that is undeserved from Donald Trump himself. So it's frustrating right now. But I have to get your take because I know that you openly support Ron DeSantis. And, the news for the last couple of weeks has been he's slipping. I believe in South Carolina, he slipped to number 3 at this point behind Nikki Haley, which is bizarre to me because she is the worst. But what do you think accounts for Ron DeSantis maybe not doing as well as you and I probably both thought he would be doing at this point in time?
Well, I don't think that we can take polls too seriously. I mean, the polls at this point was showing, in 2008, they were showing Hillary beating Obama by a huge amount. So this is still so early. I mean, the primary isn't over for like another year, maybe a little less. But I do think that the constant attacks are sticking from Team Trump. I mean, and I want to point out, I totally agree with what you say about the Trump base. I'm not speaking about all like 70 million plus voters and Americans when I criticize these people, but there is a rabid base on Twitter, especially. I think that DeSantis is going to continue to prove himself to be the best candidate that there is. I think Nikki Haley is from South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. So that might explain that there in that state. But again, I really don't think that we can take polls, at face value right now, especially this early.
No, I agree with you, but I do think that it's incredibly important for Ron DeSantis and his campaign to do well in Iowa, if not win Iowa, because if he doesn't win there, it's going to be a really challenging road for him to win the nomination. But you're right about that. I mean, the Trump team was very smart right out the gate to label Ron DeSantis a rhino and a globalist and elitist, all things that are unproven and untrue, but it really stuck to him. And so now all the people that love Trump, they used to love Ron DeSantis as well, but now because of what the Trump team has labeled him and really the light that they've cast on him, that has stuck to him. So I wonder what you think his strategy should be to shake that and get some of those Trump supporters to understand that he's probably our best bet if we want to win a general.
Exactly. And that's the point. I mean, besides me supporting DeSantis because I genuinely think he's the best candidate for our party and to move forward with, he is the only one that can beat Biden in a general. I think a lot of these, Trump supporters that have become so hostile towards DeSantis recently, they're forgetting that there is another election after the primaries and it's the only one that matters. My advice, if I were to give some, would be to highlight how Trump is actually the rhino and the establishment. I mean, he platforms, he hires, and he campaigns for establishment candidates and elected officials. I mean, he pushed McCarthy, he pushed Ronna McDaniel. The list goes on. I mean, he, with Fauci and how he handled COVID. I mean, I think that they need to start drawing comparisons to how DeSantis actually led more America first and more populist than even Trump did in the end of his presidency. And, the people he surrounds himself with ever since. I mean, Lindsey Graham was just at his campaign rally a few weeks ago. It's just insane. And this guy supposedly is going to drain the swamp. I just don't buy it. He didn't do it the first time. And I do not believe for a second he would do it this time if given the chance.
So I think that it's also, for me, I love Donald Trump and I wish he was my president now. But I will say, my thing is, I don't think he can win a general election. And now we've got indictment 1, indictment 2, probably indictment 3, maybe an indictment 4, and all of these are going to be cascading legal challenges and legal battles that he's going to be fighting through the primary season, which unfortunately is probably going to bolster him within the Republican Party, but decimate him within the general public. So that to me is concerning that Republicans are not seeing that. And like you said, they're just seeing this primary with this tunnel vision, and they're not seeing that there are a lot of other Americans who didn't like Biden when they voted for him in 2020, but just hated Trump. And now they hate Trump more. So I don't know how we get out of this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that it's actually the Democrats that are playing 4D chess here now. Everybody used to say Trump did, but that never really, amassed into anything. But I think that they are playing 4D chess. It's absolutely correct. I think that they're prosecuting him right now during the primary to bolster his numbers because they know that he could beat him, that that Biden or whoever they put up can beat Trump, and they can't beat DeSantis. So I think it's very strategic. And I think that Republicans, especially, these only Trumpers, are being played like a fiddle. And as much as I hate the left, I mean, you got to give them props for their strategy and their tenacity, because they have an agenda and they go after it in whatever way they can and to push it through. So, I'm with you 100% with that. I completely agree.
And we've got new polling of independents that's very interesting because it shows Trump losing to Biden narrowly, and it shows Biden and DeSantis really neck and neck. Now, there's margin of error here, of course, and I like you, don't pay too much attention to polls, but I pay more attention to general election independent voter polls than I do polls within either party, because I think that it's independents that are going to make or break this next election. So we better be listening to how they're feeling. And I think that independents are quite honest when they answer these pollsters, because I think that they really are a lot of times on the fence, will make their decision maybe later in the game. So I'm concerned about that. Next thing I want to talk about a little bit is the First Lady of Florida, Casey DeSantis. They've been coming at her viciously. The left, of course, as we'd expect, but also the right has come after her viciously. There are some, of course, on social media, the disgusting place that it is, saying that she faked cancer, calling her a Karen, mocking her clothing choices. And these are coming from people that are supposedly conservatives. But we know that she just started her Mamas for DeSantis. She's been on the campaign trail, solo in some occasions. What do you think of her? And are you impressed with what she's been able to do so far on behalf of her husband?
Well, yeah, isn't that just disgusting? I mean, this is what I mean. They can't attack DeSantis on policy, and they can't defend Trump on policy, especially from the last few years in his in office. And so they resort to these leftist attacks that we're used to seeing only from the left. But now it's kind of spread onto our side as well, and it's very sad. I personally think Casey DeSantis is fantastic. I think she's a warrior, in more ways than one. I mean, she beat cancer, but also she's out there fighting. The DeSantis family, they have 3 small children, so they really understand. They have a lot on the line here with the future of this country, and I think that that's amazing because it's very personal for them. And me being the founder and president of Gays Against Groomers, this fight to protect children from the radical woke ideology that is destroying our youth, is incredibly important. And I think that this Mamas for DeSantis initiative is amazing. I think it's going to get a huge swell of support. We see other huge mom coalitions like Moms for Liberty. They're at over 120,000 members now. This is a voting bloc to take very seriously. You do not want to mess with a mama bear's cubs, and that is what's happening. And they're going to find out the hard way that that's not going to stand much longer.
There's been some criticism, I think some of it might be slightly deserved, that Ron DeSantis might be going a little too far to the right when it comes to certain cultural wars. And I think that you're probably the best person for me to talk to about this, because you represent, a huge cultural movement with gays against groomers. Do you think that he is at risk of maybe stepping a little too far to the right and then alienating that general election base that he needs to have if he were to be our nominee and then be our presidential candidate? Do you think he should pull back a little bit on his culture wars, or do you think he's right in line?
No, I don't think he should. And just like Gays Against Groomers, we go very, very hard. We call it what it is. We call it child sterilization and mutilation. We call it the radical alphabet cult or alphabet mafia, because that's what these are. We have to start using real language. We can't candy coat things and cave to the language that the left uses. This is a very serious issue. And, Gays Against Groomers, a lot of people like to say that we're a far right organization or just all conservatives. The truth is we're nonpartisan, and we have support from all over the political aisle. I mean, I have the political spectrum. Sorry. I have people with the hammer and sickle icon in their bios DMing Gays Against Groomers saying that it's gone too far, and they totally agree with what we're doing and are thankful for us. So I think Ron DeSantis, I don't think he's going to lose people. I think that, the media tries to lie and say, like what you saw with the Don't Say Gay bill. I mean, anybody that's fooled by the media, they're kind of a lost cause. But I think the majority of independents and moderates are on board with this message and protecting children, despite leftists and progressive media claiming that it's only the right that cares about this.
No, I think you're right as well. I mean, there are certain things that I think he could dial back slightly, but I do think that winning parents and winning suburban women is going to be very, very important. And I think that he has that, and he's going to grow that. So I think that he's got a good strategy. He just needs to break through the mess and the noise, and I think that he'll be on a good path. But Jamie, thank you for always being so honest, so transparent, never backing down, and everything that you do with Gays Against Groomers. You guys are making some serious changes out there, and I know that you're going to take it from every angle, as I have for many years, but it means you're doing something right. So thanks for all you do.
Thank you. I would feel like we weren't being effective enough if that wasn't the case. So, happy to do it.